I'd really prefer to sell it like this as opposed to selling it as a resto mod donor, because for the right, you can tinker with it. You can really make a cool driver out of it. Hi everyone, Jim from County Corvette here. I have a 62 Corvette. We bought this car a couple months back. I saw it, actually it came from a referral from one of my mechanics, a friend of a friend, and local car, was only about 10 miles from here. So I went to look at it, and it was in a garage, and it had been sitting for about 20 years. The fella who owned it was the second owner, and he bought it in the 80s, early 80s. Drove it for a while, then he developed some vision problems and loved the car and couldn't part with it, but parked it and that was that. So it sat for a long time. So needless to say, it didn't run. I drug it out of his garage and put it up on my trailer and got it out of there. But I did like the car. This is an original paint car. It's had some touch up on it, but it's original lacquer. It's a real red fawn beige interior, and that's a very rare combination. But it's actually original to this car. So it's a special car. I bought it with the intention that it would be a nice resto mod donor. I got it back here, and really the more I looked at it, the more I liked it as an original car. And I didn't have a client for it as a resto mod build. So I decided, hey, how about if we take a stab at getting this thing running? And you know, the gas was congealed in the tank and all that, so we put a new tank in it. We did a lot of stuff to this car to get it running, but it was all there. The engine's solid. You know, it needed points, it needed a starter, it needed, like I said, a fuel tank, a carb rebuild, brakes, clutch cylinder, master cylinder, all that stuff. Actually, it's not a clutch cylinder, it's a master cylinder, and the clutch was fine. So we went through it, and I can tell you, the car runs great. It's a base engine car, but it's an unhit, undisturbed, beautiful body. It's never been apart. Original window glass, windshield. It's a white convertible top. The top is shrunk. I'll have some pictures of it up. I'm not going to try to stretch it out. That's how you separate the windshields. I've done that personally. We're not going to do it here. It's going to need a top, but the top's actually not bad. Now you could stretch it back out over time with heat and all that stuff. Me, I would just replace the top. But this is a car that could be driven kind of as it is. It's got older tires on it. The tires were good, but they're older bias ply tires, and they're probably 30 some years old, maybe 40 years old, but they're actually in decent shape in terms of not being cracked and dry rotted. So I'm not taking this car out on the road, although I could. I'm going to run it around the building, but you know, the car runs and drives quite nicely, and the steering and suspension all is in superb shape. Yeah, it's a little grungy under the hood, but it's all there. It had all the original shielding, and very correct car. So it's too nice of a car to resto mod. So we're going to have this car on the market here as a running and driving project car, but a car that could be made into a nice little driver, car you can tinker with. Again, these are not cars. I sold a 61 recently like this, because I do try to buy resto mod candidates, but I also don't like to bastardize really pure cars, and this car is just a little too nice to do that too. Not to say I won't. If there's no buyers for it, I'll resto mod it, but I think somebody should buy this car and continue loving it the way this guy did, and just keep it as just a really nice, plain Jane driver in a cool color combination. So let me take you for a little ride around the building with it. The car really does run nicely, and it's just a cool car. So here we go. All right, so we're gonna give this thing a shot here. Let's see. Boy, it just starts right up so nicely. Now we did plugs and cap and rotor and all that stuff to it. But things like the interior light here work still on this car. I didn't try the radius first time, but it's just, these are original seat covers, door panels, carpets, dash pads, beat, but it is original. Here goes the radio. So now these radios need to warm up. That radio is a tube radio, and I don't have the antenna up on it. but it actually does work, and it's just neat, you know. It's cool to get a barn find like this and actually get it running and driving. So, all right, let's go for a little ride around the building here. This thing steers pretty straight here. The brakes are working, but I would want to see the drums and shoes replaced before this thing goes on the road. But it does start and stop, but not it's not in a condition to go on the road just yet. Now I don't believe we went through the carburetor with a full rebuild, and you know, obviously it's going to need that, but it does start and run, and that's kind of cool. And the engine's in pretty good shape. It's not blowing any blue smoke or, you know, white smoke or anything. So this is a car we can work with. You know, the dash gauges all work. The turn signal works in here. Yeah, the high beam indicator works. This thing has T3 lights on it still. So, you know, look, this is a car you're going to need to do some work on, but it's a running and driving original 62. I'm not going to call it a survivor because it's not a survivor. I don't like it when people call cars survivors that haven't been actually Bloomington judged. And I don't think this car would qualify. There's a lot that's been, you know, it's a little, you know, like this dash pad, it's worn out, but it is the original stuff. A lot of the interior is actually in nice shape. The seats are shockingly in nice condition and could be reused there. A little bit of dye. So, you know, talk to us about this car. I'd really prefer to sell it like this as opposed to selling it as a resto mod donor, because for the right who can tinker with it, you can really make a cool driver out of it. So that's what I think. You know, let us know what you think, and you know, we'll kind of go from there. Hey, thanks for watching the video, and give us a call and let's make a deal. Thanks for watching.